Hey, it's time to take a look at thebaynet.com. I'm Scott Fox from expertwebsitereviews.com and clickmillionaires.com. Today we're going to do an expert website review of this Southern Maryland's news source for Calvert, St. Mary's, and Charles counties, courtesy of Sharon Bell. Thanks, Sharon, for ordering this website review from expertwebsitereviews.com. I know you've been following my books and my work for a long time. I appreciate it. And today I'm going to try to return the favor by helping you out with some redesign suggestions here for thebaynet.com. And anyone else watching this video later on YouTube or anywhere else, if you'd like a video like this reviewing your own website, come on over to expertwebsitereviews.com and I'll help you out. And in the meantime, if you're in the market for news from Southern Maryland, well, this is the place to go. So let's see what we can do to improve things. Sharon wrote in from expertwebsitereviews.com when she placed her order, and she'd like us to focus on how she can generate more money from the site. Currently, they're only charging for banner ads. So her big challenge is selling more ad space, it sounds like. And she's targeting the keywords Southern Maryland news. All right, well, that sounds like a pretty straightforward challenge. Let's see what we can do to clean up this site and make her some more money. Now, Sharon, it looks like you're in the publishing business, not surprising. This looks like what in the old days we would have called a newspaper. But here we are online at thebaynet.com and covering all that there is to know about Southern Maryland happenings. So what can we do to make you some more money? Well, I think, Sharon, the site's a bit of a jumble, honestly. It's all good in small pieces, but when you put all those pieces together, honestly, I'm a little overwhelmed. My guess is that you've been running the site for quite a few years and you've kind of added things to it piece by piece over time to the point where it's quite hard to read, quite honestly. So what can we do about that? I know you're trying to cover a lot of ground and cover a lot of different types of news and offer different services to your community, so it is tough to fit all of that into this kind of space. So what can we do? All right, well, let's see where to start. Let me think about where to start. I looked through the site and I'm impressed by the amount of stuff you're doing. And I guess that's what I'd like you to think about. What can you stop doing? There's so much here that I think you need to trim it down. I think you would get more advertising and more traffic if you had less stuff on the site. You've sandwiched advertisements into every little corner, right? Up here, up here. This big one makes the most sense to me. Then you've got them stacked down the middle here. And if you scroll around the site, as I have done, there's more here. There's another little Papa John's ad there. This lady's here twice. You know, it just goes on, and that's fine. I mean, a newspaper-style site is supported by advertising. I'm not suggesting that you're going to go and change your business model, but there's just so much going on, and that's just the ads, right? Look at this navigation. News, business classifieds, jobs, calendar, real estate, auto, announcements, advertising, and then there's a submenu, news, tips, contact us, fun, forums, coupons, pet of the week, home guard, public health net. Oh, and then up here we got games and contests, opinions, and RSS. Then there's headlines over here. I mean, it's just a view all past spotlights in there, previous spotlights. You know, hide this box. And it's like, it goes on and on. And you know, every one of these in a vacuum is probably good and helpful. But put all together, I'm just presented with wow. Now, if you have repeat visitors, which you obviously do, you have some traffic to this site, I can tell. They probably figure out where to go, but I think it would improve your traffic a lot if newcomers could figure it out faster. So what can we do to simplify this? It's a big job, and I'm not sure where to start, to be honest. There's so much. I guess I'd like you to figure out, look at your analytics. I presume you have Google Analytics or some sort of traffic tracking strategy. What are the 5 or 6 top areas that people go to? I really don't think you need 15 or 20. You know, is real estate working for you? Are the announcements working? You know, some of these, I guess, are probably not so much traffic-driven as advertiser-driven. I get that, like real estate agents. I looked around your real estate section. You've got a bunch of smiling folks here, right? Look at these ladies, all expert real estate professionals, I'm sure. And that's fine to have them pay. But, you know, if there's some things here you can drop, quite honestly, it's really a bit too much. Now, we looked at one of your competitors. You gave me some names, actually. Not this one, but this one. Now, these guys have gone the other way, right? All text, all the time, and simplified it. But this actually makes it easier to use because you can find stuff. It's actually off the screen a little bit on the left. If you look at their navigation, it's all there, and you can kind of get it as an alphabetical order. It's just off screen here, unfortunately, but it's alphabetical. Bookstore, chat, community, contest, culture, dating, dining, education, employment, entertainment, like just in a spray. These guys have simplified things. This looks a lot better. And these guys don't have as much traffic as you do, from what I can tell. So, but this simplicity is a lot more palatable. One big ad, maybe two, a nice big logo for branding, and then a couple big ads, you know, kind of you're in, you're out. And I can figure out, I've got two navigations, which are very different, white on black, and then caps beneath it on white, simpler. This is just a lot of little stuff, and this line especially bugs me. Games, contest, opinion, do you really need a third line there? And then this other stuff, you log in and register in this tiny, tiny font, and this stuff under here, while I'm complaining, Calvert, St. Mary's, Charles County, like I can't even read that. It's in dark gray on like navy or something like that. It's impossible to read. You said in your email that your average reader is 45 or older. Well, they're not going to be able to read, certainly not this stuff, right? And this is impossible. Older folks need reading glasses, and you've got this site full of tiny fonts. You're so busy cramming everything in, it makes it really hard to read. So I think you need to sort of back up and figure out what you can remove, quite honestly. And oddly enough, you have a big white space here. I'm sure this isn't regular, but if you're going to put something this big here, it should do more than this. That's a big no-no from a usability point of view. And from a revenue point of view, at least make this something clickable, right? Jeez. So, now, enough complaining. Let's try to be a little more constructive, okay? Simplify. Get rid of half of this stuff. I don't care which pieces, any of it, right? It's just too much. You've got to figure out what the top areas are and focus on delivering those easily. Some more specific suggestions are, this menu has got to be collapsed into this menu. 2 menus is plenty. You need these to be bigger, especially this little yellow one, and this stuff over here, this is just a no-no, frankly. Login and stuff. It's fine to have that, but it's so tiny it's not going to be used well. Figure out what your lead story is. You know, you clean up the nav. I'm almost speechless. I'm overwhelmed, and I think that's what your readers probably are too. Figure out what your nav is going to, nav meaning navigation menu, okay? Simplify this. Then, this has got to be your top story and then your second and third stories. I think that's the right idea. And then a couple top advertisers. That's fine. I think it's fine to have big advertisements. All this little stuff, I know you're scrambling for dollars, and I get that, but it's just distracting, especially when they're animated like this. See how these keep popping up? I mean, that makes for a hard experience for your users. Now, this is really kind of, I really don't like this. Email collector is really important. I really like that. And I really like the fact that you have it here in the middle of the page. But putting this CAPTCHA here, this is a computer, CAPTCHA is the word, C-A-P-T-C-H-A, computer assisted protection to prove you're a human or something like that. I forget off the bat, but this is just, people hate these. Get this off this page, okay? Just put a big graphic, something like this size, okay, that says, get our emails free, sign up here, and then send all this to another page if you have to do all this stuff. Or get rid of the security code stuff. That people hate that. And these boxes are so small anyway, first name, last name, do you really need all that? How about just email address and sign me up? Get rid of all this other stuff. If you need more, this button can go to another page where you require that. All right? This is not cool. It's really, yeah, you can do better than this, okay? I think the priority you've given email addresses is great, but this implementation, not so good, and it could be prettier. Of course, that's going to create yet another graphic, which is going to compete with your other graphics. So I think you need to figure out, like, geez, your top 10 maybe graphics that you put on the page, and that includes ads and photos from your stories. So you're going to have to trim down the number of graphics. It's just too much. I think up in this top bar up here, you've got this leaderboard and these little guys. That's probably okay because that's not in the main area. But I'm mostly complaining about these middle ones right down the center. And then this is ads, 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 ads with no real value to the customer. I'd rather see this content spread across the page so that they're not quite as tall and a little wider. Like these pictures don't have to be quite this big. Like look how big this picture is. And if you could spread them out and just clean up the design a little bit, then maybe you could put ads in between them rather than, if people read this site much, you're going to have a lot of what they call ad blindness here. Classic usability studies suggest that people read websites in an F pattern, F like the letter F. And so that means they'll come in and they're going to look across the top. So they'll see your navigation, decide if there's something they like there. If they don't, then they're going to go down. And then they're going to look left over to right again. So they're going to make an F pattern. You're probably doing this reversed. So let's see, this way, then back this way, and then this way. So that's your prime stuff is up here, down here, and then across this middle. So that's why I'd like to see you organize a little more. You've got a bunch of stuff down in the lower right. Like this probably doesn't get much attention, although actually it's kind of nice navigation, isn't it? And then you've got a whole bunch of pop-open stuff as well here. My goodness, this is busy. All right, well, I've complained enough, so I want to get into deeper in the site here and see if this is helpful to you, because I looked around and I do have some other suggestions. A major thing on it from a usability point of view is that the navigation and the layout should not change from page to page. You see how this is a totally different layout. It looks like I'm on a different site. And then if you go over to real estate, totally different. These look like different sites. The only thing in common is the headers. And then you go to announcements, again, a whole nother thing. This is really confusing, and I'm hoping since you paid for this review that you're thinking of redesigning. You need to figure this out, and I don't have a favorite, but just pick one and then figure out where your ads are going to sit consistently. Like this is I like this mix. You've got one here, a big one here, and one right here, because like we said, they're going to read in an F. Down, across, you're going to hit this one, and then they're going to come and see this one. Those are good placements. But whatever you're going to do, I think it should be consistent. Now, other areas I thought of for you to make money are obviously in classifieds. I presume you're selling these ads. I didn't look deep enough to know if you're charging, but that makes sense that you would. The business listings, or in real estate, I presume these folks are paying. Again, that makes sense. And auto as well. What I thought was interesting is I saw this public works and energy and this sort of stuff, and HealthNet. You're doing sort of community service stuff. It's almost a Yellow Pages approach, if you're old enough to remember the phone book, what a phone book was, where you list all this stuff. And this makes a lot of sense. In fact, this is sponsored by your local electric company, which makes a lot of sense to me. All of this listing sort of stuff, and this is not a great example because some of these are public utilities. They're not likely to pay you too much, but there's money for you in all this. You've got some ads down here at the bottom, just off the screen. There's a chiropractor and a tanning salon. That makes sense. But each of these, you could actually ask them to pay you for an upgrade, to add logos, or to add an ad, or you can make them big and bold, right? Get a bolded listing for $10 more or something, and think about that, because directories can play lots of cool games like that, and especially home improvement. This is a great one, right? All these cleaning services, right? Dean Lumber. Well, if Dean Lumber is your place to go for countertops, well, how about getting Dean Lumber to pay you $50 a year for a logo? And if you do that times even 10% of all the people that you have listed here, that's going to start to add up. And upgrades for, you don't include their phone number otherwise. I mean, you can get very picky about this stuff. Or a link to a map for directions, right? All the things that you'd want to find, you can charge. It sounds like nickels, but $5 for this, $5 for that. The nickeling and diming like that times the volume of links you have in here, building up over time, recurring, could lead to real money for you. So I know you probably want to go out and sell these bigger ads or getting sponsorships like from that electric company that are probably much larger. But when you've got a valid directory approach and a directory already built, frankly, selling upgrades like that can make a good bit of money over time. There's Pet of the Week is very nice. This probably doesn't make any money. Now, I think it's fine if you're into pets or you want to demonstrate your commitment to the community and to animals, but obviously not a moneymaker. If you're looking for things to cut, that might be one of them. One of my big questions was this section, this forum. I think it's a great idea. I'm a huge fan of forums. If you've read Click Millionaires or my other books up here, which I think you have, Sharon, I love forums. In fact, clickmillionaires.com that I run is the free forum. I think you're even a member, where we talk about online marketing and stuff like that. I love forums. I think they're a great business model. And actually, speaking of that, I should suggest, again, if any of the ideas that I have here are things you'd like to discuss, or if I'm talking too fast, perhaps come over to clickmillionaires.com and join us for free, and we'll talk about it. I'll be happy to help you more on implementing any of the things that I'm talking about. Okay, but back to this forum. This forum, I love the concept, but it doesn't look like anybody's using this, right? I mean, it's been weeks since the last post, and I clicked around a bit. In any of the sections, it really doesn't look like people are using it, which is a damn shame. I agree. I'd love people to use it. So I think you need to decide, are you going to promote the forum and get people to use it, or kill it? Because there's nothing lonelier than an empty forum, and it gums up your navigation menu. It distracts people. It means that you have things you have to moderate. People have to log in and so forth. I mean, it's a distraction. So I'd honestly like to see it promoted a lot more. I'd like to see a big thing on the homepage that says join the forum and get people in there and talking, because it's user-generated content. If you can get a forum going, then they create the content. You just display the ads and get paid for it. It's a really good business model. But it's very chicken and the egg. You have to get it going. So I don't know how much people are using this, but it looks like not much. And I would like to see you do it more, but if not, get rid of it. Because you got to get rid of some of this stuff. Now, contests, right? This is maybe sponsored by Papa John's. I mean, I don't know how big a staff you have, but you're doing so much stuff here. It must be driving you crazy. I would try to cut back on some of the stuff, figure out where the money is, and go after that. Slimming down this whole site, I think, would really help you. One of the thoughts I had navigation-wise, especially as compared to some of your competitors here, do you notice one of the big differences? Your site's very narrow. You see that? Yours is this wide. Let's go back to the home page just so we have a consistent situation. Okay, that's your home page. Now look how much wider this one is. And then this one, even wider. Now, I don't know if you want to go this wide, but it couldn't hurt. But I would at least go this wide, because that gives you some extra real estate on either side and can allow things to breathe a little bit, or to just look a little more updated, frankly. And it gives you more space to put stuff. And that's one of your problems, is you're trying to squeeze so much in at the same time. So I guess I'm starting to repeat myself here, but my themes for you, I wanted to ask about this login and register. If people are using this, I think it's got to be bigger. That's just not helpful. It's so small, and I wonder what they're logging in for. It's a little off-putting when you see it right up there near the logo. It makes me think I have to log in to use the site at all. And it may be obvious to you that that's not true, but it's not obvious to me as a new visitor. So I think if there's a membership function going on here, maybe it's just for the forum or there's some other angle to this, then I think you need to make a case for the benefits of it and make a point of it, right? Please log in, register. You know, we want to hear from you. We want you in the forum or something. Make a thing of it. It's just tossed in here, and it's so small, I bet you don't get a lot of signups. And that's kind of part of the chicken and the egg thing. If you promote the signups, you'll get more signups, and then you'll have more signups, right? And the same thing with the emails. You know, please sign up for the email list. Let us keep in touch with you. You know, the more you promote it, just this simple box, even not aside from my distaste for the way this one is laid out, just the concept of it, all you've done to sell it is get breaking news in your email. Okay, that's a little bit, but I mean, I'm sure you've got more to offer than that. How about a couple bullet points? The latest, you know, local specific news, you know, or, you know, discounts at local merchants. That would be easy for you to figure out, right? That's another business model I wanted to suggest for you, and it might be in here, but I couldn't find it. You are in a perfect position to put together some sort of discount program. If people are members of your site, they get discounts at Papa John's, and they get a discount at Tiger Structures and Carol's Equipment and Rick's Jewelers. You know, that's a money thing for you. If you can get in the middle of that, your advertisers pay you more, and you administrate some sort of, you know, discount card program or email newsletter discount program. That's a thing for you. That gets beyond banner ads, adds value to your advertisers, and gives people a reason to sign up for your email list. And the bigger your email list is, the more of an asset you have, because you can send out more emails and send more ads, right? It's circular. That chicken egg thing can go in the right direction. So this login and register and this email sign up, I want to roll those together and make it clear, why should I sign up? What do I get as a subscriber? And then for you as a business owner, the more of those you get, I think is a real money opportunity for you there. Okay? So to summarize, I'd love to see you trim stuff down, the navigation, the layout, the number of ads, and really look at each section and figure out what is important here. 4 or 5. Normally I say 3 or 4 things per page. For you, maybe it's 8 or 10 things per page, but not, geez, what, 27 things, 47 things per page? I mean, there's just way too much going on here. It's almost unnavigable from a usability expert's point of view. I can see you've got some traffic here, so I guess people are navigating. But I would love to see you simplify it so that you can build up repeat traffic. That means looking at your top sections. Pick, again, normally I'd say 3, but in your case maybe I'll say 10 or 12. Figure out what they have in common and create a hierarchy on each page. A big graphic, a primary graphic, a secondary and tertiary graphic that represent your content, and then what are your 3 or 4 ad placements that matter. And then that's all above the fold. And then you have to include in there your email sign up and your registration. Come on, whatever your offer is. That's above the fold. Then below that, what's the second section? And then it can differentiate a little because real estate might be different than classified, might be different than the forum or something. But try to use that theme and organization hierarchy on every page so that people can kind of find their way around easier. If you simplify in that manner, it will allow people to focus, and frankly, it'll allow you to focus as well. So maybe your own production efforts could be a little easier, and it will allow the simplification of your ad sales efforts because you can support each of these functions and you know where the ads go. It looks a little bit like you're selling ads to anybody that comes and say, oh, we've got a new advertiser, find a place to put them, and you're jamming it in there. And I understand that as an entrepreneur, you want the money, right? But where are you going to put them should fit in a navigational hierarchy. People have master's degrees in this stuff. And it can get very complicated. But the bottom line is what's most important to the reader balanced with what's most important to you as the business owner. And you want those two to both show up on the page in a consistent way that allows people to easily get where they're going. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that it's helpful to you. This is a really content-rich site, and I'm glad to see you doing well with it. I think this is a great idea now that I'm done complaining. The concept of local news, I think, is huge, and I love to see entrepreneurs owning this rather than it just being a spin-off of some major media corporation. I love that you're doing this, and I hope that it continues to work for you. And if there's anything else we can do to help you, come on over to clickmillionaires.com, and I'd love to work with you more and help you keep thebaynet.com rocking. All right? So thanks for watching, and anybody else tuning in to this, watching later on YouTube or anywhere else, I'm Scott Fox from expertwebsitereviews.com. You can come on and order a review like this, and I'd be happy to help you with your website as well. Or if you're looking for news from Southern Maryland, well, this is the place to go, thebaynet.com. Thanks for the order, Sharon. I'll see you again soon online.